Eberechi Eze never really had a very good display against a team known as Atletico Bilbao as compared to the cameo he had when Arsenal is playing against Liverpool and the game he really played, his full debut against Nottingham Forest. And people have gone ahead to forget that every day is not a Sunday, and they've gone ahead to come up at him and obviously thrown tantrums at him, especially one of the people that I never thought that he could obviously come and really throw tantrums at this guy. Because if you talk about Steve McManaman, he's the true definition of one of the most talented English players that I've ever gone ahead to see, and he really featured for Real Madrid even. He was really a talented player and he was really special. But I'm really shocked that he came out and really came at this lad like that. Antonio Conte has something to say about a side known as Man City, and all I want to let you know, the linemen are out. I don't know if he's going to be coming live and obviously doing the needful about that. And then Jamie Carragher has something to say about Chelsea here onto the Rokani Media Football. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, go into the lower right bottom corner, smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing into the notification bell, that will enable you to get notified every time we upload a video onto this beautiful channel of ours. And that is exactly what we're really having in here onto our beautiful channel, into the mix. So guys, let's go eyes and see how things are really going to be panning out in there. Now, Steve McManaman has come out and obviously said the following about Eberechi Eze. He said, Eze will watch the performance and think to himself, this is a different class of opposition. They are quicker, they are strong than I faced in the Premier League and with Crystal Palace. He knows now his level of game will have to jump up. You are now playing big boys football in Champions League against the best teams around the world. If you want to compete, you have to be better and you have to be quicker than he showed on Tuesday night. Now, I think Eberechi Eze cannot be judged in just this one game. I hate it. This player has to get in what we call a run-in of games. When you get a run-in of games, that's when you're obviously supposed to be judged. But how come you come up and really judge a player like Eberechi Eze after really coming out and really having just one game in the Champions League? For your information, that is his debut. That is the debut of Eberechi Eze. And everyone who was going at him, I'm like, do these people know football? If you are debuting in the Champions League and you are Eberechi Eze, in a game where every Arsenal player never really looked as he's supposed to look, apart from Mosquera, you can talk about David Raya, Zubimendi, and most of the players that really performed very well before, the coming in through of Martinelli and Trossard that went ahead to score Arsenal through a goal and an assist respectively to each. All other players never really performed very well. Defensive players were really good, and they kept a clean sheet, you understand, but the forward players were really lacking. Noni Madueke tried to put up a show. Gyökeres got 2 chances, never scored any. Eberechi Eze, he never really put up a very good performance. But if I were Steve McManaman, a man who came up and obviously played football at an elite level, what would have gone ahead to do is let's see his next game. Because I cannot judge a player on only one game. And people are judging him on only one game. Yet, we cannot even judge a player on his first season. When a player comes in through and hits the ground running, that's really a very huge step into the positive direction. But when a player comes up and doesn't hit the ground running, I tell you, I cannot really come out and really judge him because you never know what will happen in the second season. And we all know to it that few players have gone ahead to hit the ground running in their first season. Though at Arsenal, a lot has gone ahead to happen in their way because most of the players that Mikel Arteta has gone ahead to come up and sign have gone ahead to hit the ground running. And I think those that really failed were Lokonga, Nuno Tavares was good, but he was really a reckless player, you understand? But most of the players have gone ahead to hit the ground running. Eberechi Eze has gone ahead to obviously hit the ground running in the Premier League. And Champions League, there are 8 games to go, And even you can't really shine in 38 Premier League games, I tell you. There are some Premier League games that are obviously going to be hard for Eberechi Eze. But you have to give him a benefit of doubt that in the Premier League, he has been playing the Premier League for the past seasons and he knows exactly what the Premier League is all about. And I don't think that when you talk about physicality, right? When you talk about physicality, Champions League has those physical attributes. I don't think so. You understand? And very many Spanish teams really play what we call an open game. But even the players of Arsenal were prior warned by Zubimendi. I'm going to be doing that video, I think, today or tomorrow, that the team you're going to play is going to make it hard for you. That's what Zubimendi told the players before they stepped on the field of play. And everyone was surprised because this team brought a physical game and they brought what we call a man-to-man marking. That's why for Arsenal to get those 2 goals, they had to get the first one through a counter-attack. And after that counter-attack, where Arsenal had to beat the high line of Atletico Madrid at the center line through that penetrative pass of a player known as Trossard, then this team tried to open up and obviously try to really get an equalizer, and that's what resulted into Arsenal getting a second one. So for me, I really feel like the pundits are really harsh on this guy. If they are judging a player who has been at Arsenal for 2 seasons, 3, it's okay. But the lad made his debut in the Champions League, and to me, he never really reached the levels of Eberechi Eze, but I think he represented. And Statman Dev has come up and obviously given us one of those stats that maybe McManaman never went ahead to see, that the lad known as Eberechi Eze went ahead to showcase, and they're really extraordinary. Now, we've been told that Eberechi Eze won 4 out of 4 tackles in the first half against Atletico Bilbao, more than any other player on the pitch. Now, have you heard? In the first half, Eberechi Eze won 4 out of 4 tackles, and it was not part of his game. And maybe the manager was like, you're obviously going to be doing the needful. And I've gone ahead to see some people put out like the cutouts of how Eze was really performing or behaving, his positional display, that Arteta was limiting him on the touchline. And I was like, he never limited him towards the touchline against Liverpool. He never limited him towards the touchline against a team called Crystal Palace. Why could he really limit him onto the touchline against Atletico Bilbao when the manager doesn't have any reason? I tell you, the manager had a reason as to why he went ahead to do that. And obviously, that's the positivity that really came out. And for Mikel Arteta, I haven't even gone ahead to hear him talk about Eberechi Eze. I would really like to hear what the manager really talks about Eze. Because if Eze was not doing what the manager really wanted, there is no way he could last on the pitch for 60 minutes. There is no way he could have gone ahead to last on the pitch for all those minutes, meaning that he was doing something that the manager had told him to do. And for everyone who is like, they kept him onto the touchline a lot. Guys, you are judging Eze on being on the touchline because the game never really went the way Eze wanted it to be, But the manager might be excited about the player. But we, the people who watch the football, we want to see this flamboyant Eberechi Eze. That is it. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But for me, I know I cannot criticize him in this one game. I know it never really looked good, but he was not good for what we call the eye test. But the player is standing out for Arsenal. And mind you, he never had a preseason. He has been just thrown into the team of Arsenal. And if at all he's putting up such performances, 5-finger salute to a man known as Eberechi Eze. For me, he's really that player that Arsenal really brought in through. And I've seen others say he should be played as a number 10. Now, I want to ask you, in the previous seasons, you've gone ahead to see him flying at Crystal Palace. Where has he been playing best? Left forward. That is it. Please, before you talk, have to make some research about your pronouncements that you obviously got here to put out. Now, we're having a big one. Napoli is taking on a team known as Man City today. Napoli has Rasmus Højlund, it has Kevin De Bruyne, it has Scott McTominay, it has Anguissa, Spinazzola. Good players in there for you. And now, Antonio Conte has come out and obviously spoken about the side of City. And in his words, this is what he said. We are definitely playing against a team where history speaks for itself. in the last couple of years, they've been the only protagonist. They are a top club with a top coach. We consider ourselves to be almost like students coming to play against the teachers. Obviously, this is one of the top clubs that you'll ever come find around. A little bit shrinking, but with a very good squad. And City playing Napoli is obviously going to be the game to watch tonight. I know Barcelona is going to be playing against Newcastle in the Midlands, but I tell you what, the side of City versus Napoli is one to watch. City has been one of those teams that has gone ahead to put in a very good shift in there. And I tell you what, I really love the team. I love the team as City, and I like the players they really do have. They come into this game of football after beating United 3-0, and Napoli also really, I think, went ahead to beat, is it 3-1 over the weekend? They beat Fiorentina. Rasmus Højlund coming up to score against David De Gea. So, everything against City at home. You can't obviously rule out City, but you have to give them a benefit of doubt to come in through and be with the needful. But Antonio Conte is giving them respect. But remember, Antonio Conte was one of those managers that really went ahead to give Mikel Arteta a hard time. And I think that's what we should expect today. You know, it's really going to be a highly fought for game, an end-to-end game, you know, and it's really going to go pound per pound. You understand? So, Kevin De Bruyne is really going to be one of the talk about points into this game, because he's returning home. You know, just months after leaving Man City, he's now back to face them in the Champions League. You understand? So, we wait and see how things pan out and how City will obviously come up and really put in the desired shift of football altogether as Antonio Conte comes in through to try out his luck and win this. Now, yesterday Chelsea was beaten by the side of... Chelsea went ahead to be beaten by the side of... Chelsea went ahead to be beaten by the side of Bayern Munich 3-1. Now, Yami Carragher has come up and obviously spoken my mind, you know. I really told people, Chelsea has a very good squad, but there is no way you can obviously put them among the favorites to win the league. And Carragher said, Chelsea are no closer. They are further away than what the manager Tuchel was doing 3.5 years ago in terms of competing with the top teams in the Premier League. They are further away, having spent £2 billion. And he's really right. I've been speaking this ever since they sacked a man known as Thomas Tuchel. You understand? And for me, Toddy Boyle, for me, what he's doing at Chelsea, I think it's really wrong. Unless otherwise someone tells me that he's trying to go with this saying that every new owner wants to have his own manager. That is it. But for me, Thomas Tuchel was a manager that they would have gone ahead to keep at Chelsea because he had won them what we call a Champions League, and those few bad performances couldn't obviously see him sacked, as he was a man sitting on his own record that saw Chelsea win the Champions League and even take them back to the Champions League. Remember when he came in through in December of 2020, was it 2020? Was it 20? When Frank Lampard was sacked, this guy came in through. And when this guy came in through, I think it was December of 2020, when this guy came in through, Thomas Tuchel, no manager had gone ahead to accumulate more points in the Premier League than him ever since he joined. You understand? So, for a man who came in December and turned things around, you had to just give him a benefit of doubt and say, let me give him a full season and see how things will obviously entangle out. But they really pulled him out, and they brought him Graham Potter. Graham Potter also failed. Poch came in through. I think Poch tried, but the buying of players really caused problems because he wanted to be having a veto power on buying players, and even Toddy Boyle was like Christopher Vivell, who is now at Manchester United and formerly at Chelsea by then, had to do the needful. You understand? So, I want to let you know that the club of Chelsea has good players, and they're really having an incredible squad with an incredible average, and I think next season they'll come in as some of the favorites to win the league, you know. But you saw to it that they were schooled by Bayern Munich. That is it. They were taken to school by Bayern Munich yesterday, and I don't think that Thomas Tuchel's squad would obviously look like that. I saw a Thomas Tuchel play against Arsenal, last Champions League but one, that was 2023, 2024, and I saw how good this manager is, and he's at the England national team, and I tell you what, I'm making my World Cup predictions early enough that England are obviously going to be a threat. And if Gareth Southgate has been taking them to the final and they've gone ahead to get beaten, Tuchel will win them a World Cup. I tell you, they are going to be the favorites. England, Portugal, Argentina, those three teams are really going to be, and Spain. Those are the teams to watch during the World Cup. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I really agree with Yami Carragher. I don't know how far you agree with Yami Carragher, but it's really good to obviously upload this first video of the day here onto the Rokani Media Football. I'm going to be coming up with a live of the City game versus Napoli and Newcastle versus Barcelona. Thank you guys for watching through. I'm out. Bye-bye.